John. As John already introduced, we try to see if we can leverage the already existing infrastructure, which a lot of DSOs in Europe, especially in this case for Vattenfall, already have deployed, and see what you can achieve with that without basically redeploying a new network, which would live in parallel to the existing AMA infrastructure. When you look at the smart meters, or at least if you look at feature-rich smart meters like the NES meter, you will see that this meter is not just like an energy aggregation or accumulation engine. It also measures, power per phase, voltage per phase, power factors, and also can build aggregates over intervals to, for example, doing like maximum, minimum averaging over different data sets. So why this is important is, there's I would say, constraint in communication in the low voltage grid. So it doesn't really matter if it's GPRS, point-to-point, PLC, RF. There's always a bandwidth limit. And if you're talking about the vast network we see there with thousands of devices, 10,000 of devices in a small area, the bandwidth will be a problem. So you need to have the meter smart enough to kind of pre-filter and pre-select and pre-aggregate the data, which is really relevant for the use case here. So that's the first thing. So basically the meter, which will record, I would say, the key raw data points we need and then build the aggregates we need for this kind of use case. But then also the data concentrator, which sits at the substation usually, is more than just, I would say, a data aggregator being, kind of collecting the energy readings. It actually can now also kind of spot and try to identify the physical topology of the wiring. So we had already previous webinars, so we can present what we do. So one thing is there that the DC-13000 we have here featured. It's a computer, more or less, sitting at a substation and measuring the power line communication between meters to kind of build a topology which is derived from the signal characteristics and the communication patterns. This kind of topology, I will just show you the next slide here, is then used to kind of build a model of like a logical model of the grid. So to answer questions like, okay, so if I see, for example, a voltage drop between two metering points, are these two metering points on the same kind of cable network? Are they different cables? Does it make sense, for example, if I say there's a voltage drop of like 7% between meter A and meter B, while the average or the maximum power level on those two meters doesn't really support that voltage drop? So that could indicate that either way there is unmeasured consumption, or there is perhaps a technical fault, a weakness in insulation, undocumented stuff in the network. So, and the other important thing is for this kind of computation is that it doesn't really give you only a topology which kind of gives you like, this meter's downstream from the other one, and it's basically branches off here, but it also kind of maps the local phase terminal of each meter to the transformer substation phase terminal, which means that usually most DSOs over the years have lost the relationship between what's phase L1 on the transformer and what's phase L1 basically on each meter, and going from there. So what we do through our power line technology, we kind of map that out. And for every meter in the network, we know, okay, it's connected in this sequence to the other meters, in this sequence to the transformer. And actually, this cable going to the line 1 terminal, line 2 terminal, line 3 terminal corresponds to the terminal at the transformer, which then allows us to kind of aggregate across feeder lines and say, okay, you know what? We see on this feeder, for example, as I said before, the voltage drop between L1, which might be a different terminal, and 1 meter, and L1 on the last meter's line, and can actually really tell the DSO, like, okay, so we see true phase model overlaid with data to kind of give you much more information than before. So what you can actually do with this information is another thing.